Hello and welcome back to the UKLC. I'm still vibrating, still joined by Jamana in it. It fills me with great dread as we're in the bumper and Jamana's like, oh, I need to do something. I'm like, no, please be on screen when we come back. But you made it in time. It was perfectly timed. No one would have noticed unless I called you out for it. So that's good. But we're going into our second game of the evening. London Esports are taking on Bulldog. And let's have a look at these two rosters.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, Bulldog coming in, I think most people realistically underestimated this roster, and they opened out with a 3-0 start to the split. And Harch in particular, a lot of eyes were on him, and then also towards VUC, formerly known as Casper, and they were really doing a lot of work. And even Shiklin was pulling his weight too. Poke, everybody on this roster was pulling their weight. And then, they dropped their first game in week 2, and they've not really looked the same since. They've realistically kind of been a shell of their opening self. And hopefully for them, they start to sort of pick up some of their momentum again, because it was very exciting to finally see Bulldog as an organization picking up wins. And on the other side for London, I think the sort of important thing for me is seeing if they can actually stay consistent, because they've not actually had a 2-0 week yet. They've gone 1-1, 1-1, 1-1 every single week. So whilst this is going to be a super week, we're going to have 3 days this week and next week, at least looking to pick up 2 out of 3 of those wins. I feel like for London is going to be important, and this is definitely going to be a match where they'll be looking to pick up one of those wins.
And it's definitely a very winnable match for both of these sides, right? You've got London Esports who, as you say, having the better fortunes right now, but they're still on the same footing as Bulldog. And Bulldog, if they can recapture that early season form, then they could be on to a winner. We're into picks and bans. Of course, Bulldog on the blue side, London Esports on the red. We've got Udyr, Lucian, and Olaf all taken off the table, which are some very standard, powerful bans.
Yeah, Udyr has sort of risen to prominence now, it feels like, as potentially just kind of a near... I wouldn't go as far as saying near permaban, but he, every other game he's being banned out. A lot of junglers do play him. I'm not sure if PFI has managed to snag a game on him just yet, but honestly, Udyr sounds like a champion that PFI would probably play. Looking at the rest of the bans, Lucian has near enough kind of just been respect banned versus Beely for a lot of these games ever since one of his earlier week performances, where honestly he put on a show. And Pantheon, Olaf, no big surprise from red side, and Lydia's going to be removed away from PFI too. So looking at what's actually still left on the table, AD carries start to ring bells, as Seraphine's going to be the last ban. So, things like the Kai'Sa, definitely very first pickable. There are other champions still up amongst the junglers as well. So honestly, it's Bulldog's pickings. I don't typically see them first pick their AD carry too often. As there you go, we're going to actually see Nidalee first picked by I'm going to go and say his name's Zion. This is a substitute, I believe, unless their junglers had a name change.
Substitution.
Yeah, so Zion getting his hands on the Nidalee first pick. And now it's honestly up to London to sort of retaliate in however they see fit. They're going to pick up then Voxnay's Kai'Sa, and they're also going to round it out with Gragas. So 2 very powerful picks in the meta, and also work really well together as a lane pairing if they do end up in the bottom side. And of course, Gragas so versatile of what he can actually do: engage, disengage, lane tank, burst assassin. It's kind of like a baby Ornn in a way.
Whatever you want to do. He can't bird dry him, so he can throw barrels at you, which is always good to see. And you said that PFI likes this champion a lot, so could be going into that jungle. We've already seen it once today. The Camille being locked and snuck through bans, so going to be an absolute nuisance up in that top side. And with all the marksmen and all of the AD carries available, Xayah is the pickup here.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of people have slept on this Xayah. Up until very recently, I think she is as strong as picks like the Kai'Sa, like the Jhin, like the Samira. Just a very capable, self-sufficient AD carry. And especially when you're dealing with compositions that want to dive forward, which is what London, for the most part, actually have. So powerful with the Featherstorm, with the Blade Caller. You can dish out so much damage. It makes walking into chokes so difficult. And honestly, Camille, a pick that we often see banned away, is going to slip through to Harchi, and I think it's going to be his first Camille game that we actually get out of him. And Merp finally off tank duty. I think this is going to be his first game, bar one, not on the likes of a Sion or an Ornn. So very excited to see Merp finally, or I mean, Beely actually plays Renekton, so this is maybe not even perfect.
But finally get off a tank or lock it. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
never
right.
mind. But it will be good to see Merp on something a little bit different if he does get his hands on that Renekton as we do move into the second round of bans. Galio and Syndra both taken off the table. Mid lane clearly going to be the focus. Asterisk, Galio can go support, yes, but with the Gragas there's already kind of that option at support as well. So more and more I look at it, London Esports have given themselves quite a lot of flexibility with what they picked up so far, and Bulldog Esports kind of haven't.
Yeah, you know, the Bulldog champions so far are relatively static. I don't feel like Shiklin's going to be picking up mid lane Camille, so or poke the support on mid lane Nidalee. Oh, don't even get me started.
Full AP spears.
Yeah, no, please, let's not. But yeah, a lot, you know, for the most part, these champions realistically going to be in the roles they're most known for. Whereas on the other side, a lot more flexibility. Like we say, Gragas is a champion that PFI does play. I'm sure Hepe probably, I want to say he's maybe even picked up the Gragas once this split. But with the fresh hover / Braum hover, you imagine is going to be PFI piloting the Gragas in most scenarios here, unless we see the Renekton flexed down into the mid lane, and whatever reason Merp has to pick up the Gragas. But I feel like for now London have pretty good responses into that Camille pick specifically, as this would be quite the interesting lock-in with that Twisted Fate. I mean, all right, we're gonna get it. I don't think I've seen Shiklin actually play this champion in his pretty long and historied sort of career. As now, if Bulldog want to, they can round out with Zyra Khan. It'll give them a little more dive and engage.
They definitely can't. Because
it's banned away. Well, yeah, there's that too.
But Zarya,
and Nautilus is probably the next best thing
nice.
to that. As oh wow, we're getting right. So real fast response across the board. Yeah, I didn't quite catch that Rakan being banned away. But Nautilus in this sense still functions in the same sort of facet where, you know, you got a little bit of engage. So honestly, Bulldog looking probably to punish this Renekton with the Camille and with that Twisted Fate. Can even obviously throw the Nidalee up there as well. Whereas on the bottom side, with this Zarya and the Nautilus, they're going to be looking to most likely survive any kind of aggressive dive attempts. But honestly, Beely was very fast in this Rise pick, and it's something that we've seen sort of pop up. Even at the top level, I believe G2 were playing it yesterday. No, not yesterday. Or yesterday. Yeah, G2 were playing it yesterday. This Rise pick. So we'll have to see how Beely wants to pilot Rise as a champion. Typically, when he's in the meta, he's very powerful.
He's so interesting because he's powerful individually and powerful as a team player, right?
Yeah.
That ultimate can really warp, and yeah, Rise doesn't
Literally
often want to be taking it too. Nice.
Okay, I
didn't even think about that one. So that's good. It's good that if I can't think of the joke that I'm inadvertently making, I need you to step in and help me out. But yeah, you're not maybe not want to send the Rise directly into the middle of it. People sometimes you do, but Renekton, he loves that.
You might want to send to the back line. So there you go. So I'm liking what both of these teams are running in their compositions. I think they're relatively sort of geared towards give or take the same thing, though. London definitely going to be favored, I feel like, in the greater team fights. I think when you're talking about Nidalee versus Gragas, the effectiveness that you get out of both those two champions varies very differently. And obviously Nidalee has that sort of ask of, if she has to team fight, she has to hit spears, which in team fight scenarios isn't always going to be too easy. She does have a fair amount of setup though, gold cards, Nautilus hooks, and all of the CC that comes from him. So should be okay to pilot in these team fights. But I imagine that Bulldog, actually much like what we see from London usually, going to be looking to play out the map a little more, play out in these 3 lanes, in both the side lanes with the Twisted Fate and the Camille. And
it's the debut coming in for Zion, so this Nidalee is it's a vote of confidence, not only coming in and saying, look, here's the Nidalee, here's this champion that is a little bit more feast or famine than some of the other pickups that are in the jungle right now, especially when you look at the fact that Hecarim, once again, chilled through champ selected and get involved, so surprised by that one, and then first picking it. So saying, look, we believe in this pick for you so much that A, we are going to pick it, and B, it is going to be our priority. So this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup in the jungle just because of these picks, no less. And PFI, as you say, he likes the Gragas. He likes this pickup. We know how much this Gragas can do because we've already seen it today, albeit not picking up a win, but still looking pretty good. And as we move on to the rift with Bulldog Esports on the blue side and London Esports on the red side, we're setting up for a very, very exciting matchup.
Yeah, and I am going to actually keep my eyes on the jungle matchup, specifically because Zion is the new sort of comer here to the league. And of course, throwing down the gauntlet of being on the Nidalee is always quite exciting. And in general, this matchup can be of interest when you're talking about things like tempo. On the map, you know, Nidalee's going to clear out those jungle camps far faster than Gragas can really imagine to keep up with. So have to see how he uses the additional time that he's most likely going to have over PFI. But for now, I'm not going to have too many shenanigans. Though, the UCM poke sitting in this bottom side brush. There is an on the way ping towards that blue side. So I wonder if we can end up seeing a late invade here, as Zion isn't pathing towards his red buff. So have to see.
Maybe.
Looks like that is going to be the case. It's going to be a little slow. Zion is quite far behind, but there you go. It's just going to be this late invade. Going to try and pick up this blue buff and attempt to split the map, potentially. But here's the thing with Nidalee, very fast at clearing. So I have to see whether she decides to immediately cross over, whether she wants to take that full blue side quadrant. And now it's really on PFI to see how he actually responds to his blue buff being stolen away. Whether he's even going to be able to go into Zion's blue buff himself to at least make it a 1-for-1 trade. For now, I mean, he's actually bolting straight over to his blue side. So certainly going to be quite far behind on tempo, as Zion's already on his red, I beg your pardon. And the PFI trying to secure his wolves away. That's somewhat strange. He doesn't actually know whether Nidalee was going to stay on that Grump unless there's the vision there, but we've got the level 2 coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Death Sentence and Poke is going to go down. First Blood easily secured by Denvoxney. All the time in the world in the jungle isn't going to repay you for that one, and that is exactly who London love having First Blood on.
Yeah, honestly, Denvoxney has sort of been the backbone of many of the London victories. As another Death Sentence.
Another Death Sentence, another flay and damage coming through. Vyusi gonna have to use that heal, holds the flash, but so much damage coming through again with that level 2 spike from Yep, and 2 Death Sentences, 1 kill and 1 summoner burnt.
Yeah, Hepe laser guided so far with those Death Sentences, and Bulldog bottom side having to pay for it quite handily. Even going to be able to get the cheater recall off for Denvoxney and Hepe. Going to come back out with a pickaxe.
No, he's not going to be able to catch out, as Yepe is going to be caught out by Poke, but damage isn't going to be enough just from the Nautilus, and with Vyusi trying to catch as much farm as possible with already being forced back, does mean that Fresh will be denied the opportunity to go back and get the cheetah alongside Denvoxney, but with a pickaxe coming back to lane, does have to be careful, as Fresh at level 3 has Lantern, has Death Sentence, has mana to do both, and you can see so much respect being given over by Bulldog, because Vyusi already pretty much out of mana.
Yeah, has to go back and pay his respect, as Denvoxney and Hepe now will be able to either slow stack or hard shove that wave back in to the Bulldog bottom side. You see Hachi just crashing that wave and resetting himself, so he's going to get himself a nice little reset. Top lane CS, a little bit even, give or take 2 CS, so Merp doing a good job of at least staying even for now, but you definitely do want to be actually smashing this Camille in lane with the Renekton pick. It's usually why we see it as the answer to the Camille. I think the crucial thing to be looking at is waiting for this Twisted Fate to have his ultimate available, right? Gate, Destiny, actually pulling up to that top side or to the bottom side. I have to see, but I think playing into a now what is likely going to be free-fed Denvoxney could be a little bit risky, but at the same time, you probably want to try and shut him down. But at this point, I would probably go down the route of just attempting to snowball the opposite side of the map. If you're going to have a potentially hard-losing bottom side, as a lot of attention has been paid in Vision to London for this dragon spawning up in a couple of seconds' time. BD's held mid lane priority for most of the opening 5 minutes here. Doesn't seem like they want to start this dragon up on spawn though, as London don't have bottom lane priority.
Yeah, it's being pushed back a little bit by UC and Poke. Being a little bit more confident to step forward, grab some farm, have caught up in that regard as well. But of course, with that First Blood Gold and Denvox, they having the pickaxe instead of the dagger and the longsword, does mean that he's going to be more confident in gaining that priority as soon as PFI calls for it, you've got to imagine. And with him moving up towards those wolves, could look to move down and try and do it afterwards, or could look to just leave it be with all the ward vision they've accrued over the past couple of minutes. But looking at this top side very quickly, Hatchie and Mapillion. Hatchie's been a player that has really impressed me so far in this UKLC season for someone who's was a reasonably unknown player coming into it and is on a roster that's still not necessarily performing at their optimum. He's looked very, very good, and you said that he was denied his Aatrox a couple of times because of the absolute state of him on that champion. Now on this Camille, a very, very strong pickup. I've got big hopes for him.
Yeah, and I actually don't even think the Aatrox was banned away in this game.
No, I don't think it was.
So straight just opting for this Camille. Of course, Camille considered a much stronger champion in the meta by many still. I think there's definitely an argument for both. Of course, slightly different pros and cons. Camille definitely does scale a little better as, speaking of...
Actually might have been caught out by PFI, roaming up. I did use the Predator. The ultimatum comes through as Shiklin will arrive as well. Rise coming up. Beely is here to make this another 2v2 as the first kill has already gone down. Mutt and Beely now going to chase onto Shiklin, trying to get revenge, trying to grab another kill for themselves if they can. Shiklin running towards the wrong tower as Mutt slices, dices, stuns, and kills. Beely picking up that one for his troubles on the roam. The Devastators will land in bot lane. But no engage coming through from Hebe this time around, knowing that that Zion could be hanging about. So a nice play there. London go away with more of the spoils.
Yeah, is Hepe allowed to miss a hook if champions are in vision? I'm starting to wonder. I mean,
No,
look
clearly
at this
not.
guy,
As he
man.
gets onto
He's
Vahus, he
not
gets the double flay, but damage isn't going to be secured enough from Dev Voxney. But he's going to be able to do a little bit more. And you know, Death Sentence's cooldown isn't too long. Hepe might have it up again very, very shortly. Gets a nice play, looking towards Poke, throws down the lantern for the shield, gets the Death Sentence down, and will be looking for the damage on the Poke. Does manage to secure it as the teleport coming down, but it's very, very late.
What?
As Hatchie turns up, maybe looking for a dive with Zion on the side as well, running through Tribush. Hepe needs to be careful. Nice place to keep Hatchie out of the cable shot. This stretch is going insane as Zion is going to be chased off and killed by Dev Voxley, who gets that final auto attack. I don't know what they've been feeding Yefe in the London Esports canteen this season, but goodness me, that was insane.
Get this man tested immediately. What? All right, let's. So first fight, top side, London making the proactive play onto Hachi. The immediate Destiny Gate from Shiklin is there, but Beely isn't too far behind with the Realm Warp, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 between jungler and top side. But realistically, Shiklin can no longer 2v1 the likes of a Renekton and a Rise, so he's going to drop for his troubles, kill Donade over to the Rise, as we're actually going to have to come out of the replay.
Yeah, PFI coming forward with the ultimate. Shiklin has the stun, but it's not going to be able to do anything to save him as London Beely picks up the kill. And London Esports, they've taken this one by the horns immediately, and they're looking so clean right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just play after play after play. And I mean, okay, it's just going to be a positive really for London. They're not going to lose anything for that bottom side fight. And I mean, again, Hepe is just a man on a mission, a man possessed. Many other monikers you can give him right now. He's not missing Death Sentence. It's a nice play out of the hook shot from Hachi. And he even flashes over the spear. I mean, he's just on fire. And then Voxney almost cancelled an auto to not pick up that kill, but he does find it eventually and flash body slam onto the Flashless Twisted Fate. Gonna seal the fate of Shiklin back into the Death Chamber after actually just returning from the top side play. So good stuff from London. Even rotating up to try and catch out potentially Zion on this Herald. Is a very nice rotation. Then Voxney off the back of it.
Death right onto a double play as well. Shiklin goes down. Poke will probably follow, although Zion is looking to maybe get the re-engage down, but it's only 3v2. Does need to be a little bit careful as Den Voxney is coming down as well. The spear goes wide, but the Death Sentence hits a minion. Honestly.
Is that the first one?
Devastating. I think he missed one in lane as well. PFI needs to be a little bit careful not to get called out on the side, but does manage to survive. But this is insane fresh mechanics. We're getting a masterclass right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he is really just on a mission. Then Voxney not going to chase down BUC in this bottom side. More interested in catching up on some of those creeps he just missed. BUC for his troubles did pick up the plate off that room, but I mean, just, man.
The flay as well.
We're getting to the point where we can just make a highlight reel from this game alone of Death Sentence's hit. And we're barely just cresting the 10-minute mark. So, man, he's honestly possessed. Like you said, what are they feeding the London players right now? Specifically Hepe.
They're on the protein. You know, lean turkey breasts, eggs, you know, all of this stuff. Yebe just sitting 10 hours a day practicing his fresh hooks, and it's paying off. Because, goodness me, only been involved in 3 kills so far, but has
Feels
looked
like
very,
he's
very
involved in all
impressive.
of them.
It does, right? Because he's back in mid lane. He's chilling out. He's trying to get enough play onto Shiklin, who must be terrified. If Fresh is not on exact vision at all times this game, and I was on Bulldog, I'd be terrified because the man is sentencing people to death, and the name of that ability has never been more apt.
Yeah, no, it really hasn't. And actually, a byproduct of that play made mid by London, and specifically Hepe landing that death sentence, is that Zion was on the Rift Herald, but he had to drop it. You can see the Rift Herald is still up. So potentially now on this clear is going to try and pick it up as a potential response.
Ooh. Poke manages to get out of the way of that one. The Mode Boot's doing wonders for his ability to dodge, and now they can clear up this bot lane, but allows Dragon to be easily started up by London Esports. It will be the Infernal going down to them. I don't see too much of a contest, too much of a steal opportunity available, as Yepe is going to be able to move down and just marshal anyone who considers roaming up to stop. And Cloud Dragon will be the one once again.
I really love this. Look at the minimap from London. You can see they know that they're giving up the Rift Herald, so immediately Beely dips into Fog onto the bottom side of us. They know PFI is also here, or at least in the area, so it means you can see now with the Predator showing up on the top of their heads, they know they have to respect the fact that they could just get free man. Even with Shiklin being there, it would still be a numbers disadvantage because Merp has teleport, Hachi does not. But now it's Merp's turn to pay a little bit of respect to the weak side, please, as Busey and Poke actually just fully sacking the bottom side to try and push up in the mid lane whilst they send Shiklin to the top side. So both teams making side lane plays of their own. Archie's going to crash this wave. Shiklin doesn't even have to cast his ultimate to be here for this top side of the play. Are they going to try and dive him is the question. Seems like the answer is probably going to be yes.
Yeah, trying to get a start, but only 1 minion goes down, so now they're going to be tanking it all the way. Merp has used Dominus and is just kind of chilling under tower, dodges out the spear, and Bulldog actually come out of that trade worse for wear. They have the lower health bars. They're the ones who committed 3 members. 4 members with Poke moving up as well. And Zion, again, the spear will not land, and Devoxy's going to be able to pick up a fully plated tower in the bot side. The last couple of plates have been taken solo, and not the play that Bulldog needed right now.
No, and just on a small side note, then Voxnay playing this really, really well. If he was really, you know, on the... Well, I guess no, he wants to eat this wave, so it's fine. But he could even make it try and just temporarily slow push back in to force somebody to overextend. But very curious on the top side. You may be wondering as to why Bulldog didn't actually commit to Merpillion underneath the tower. And whilst I feel like if they go for it, they should be able to execute him. Reasoning most likely being he has the Gore Drinker finished up. He has that empowered Cole the Meek. The Renekton Q, so another healing ability. Just worried that they wouldn't have enough damage to actually execute him if they all dive on top of him at the same time. But Hachi had Ignite, and he didn't commit. So, very strange. I mean, all right, well, there you go.
Technically, the death sentence didn't land, so we can put that one in the missed column. But
I mean, if Busey casts his Featherstorm, I feel like it's
it's still a miss.
All right, well, we're going to be
still
harsh
not
about
landed.
Oh, speaking of things
Beely
that
coming
don't
up.
miss,
Yeah, Beely's ultimate coming through. Hachi looking for the cable shot. Will be able to get it into the alcove, but so many members of London are looking to keep him there permanently. Poke and Zion actually decided against Poke. Has moved up. A little bit of communication breakdown potentially from the side of Bulldog. They're not going to mind too much, though. They lose 1 member and are going to be pushing towards this mid lane, but Teleport coming through will leave them with an angry Crocodile if they want to continue that siege, and Devoxnay is going to be happy to get more damage on another side lane tower.
And then Voxnay so far, fight!
Another one picking off. Zion needs to be careful as he's being chased away. Poke going as well, and London Esports not able to catch out anyone with enough damage to grab a kill, but they're feeling so confident they can go anywhere on this map right now because members of Bulldog, they're not able to get enough damage down to secure anything. And now on the top side, look at Shiklin looking for a stun. Won't be able to find anyone particularly useful. He just gets immediately deleted. PFI in a little bit of trouble as Beely looking to get the damage down. Yep, hits another death sentence, but it will be his death this time around as the ultimate takes down PFI as well. Beely dodges out from the hook from Nautilus, but will be able to get the stun. Merp is here as Zion goes over the wall, but won't get there alive as Poke is now the target. He's going to be the one chased off. The Billion is there. Stun comes down. Cold the Meek comes down. But it's the double kill for Gen Vox there. And what was probably the best fight so far coming through from Bulldog still sees 4 of them leaving dead.
Yeah, and Gold Lead starting to spiral heavily out of control. I know Observer, that was quite strange. But yeah, I mean, we just see Twisted Fate getting dropped immediately. The straight turn from London as, you know, Hachi is here to try and make amends for the top side, but The issue is they can't find the execute on Billiam, but Billiam finally finds the rotation up from the mid side of the map. And from that point onwards, really, once the carries are still alive, it's only the Gragas and the Thresh that they're able to pick up. Carries and damage still there. Do you find the execute? Zeus is going to have to flash. That's my guess.
Ultimate available, and there's the depth sentence, there's the flame, the flash comes through, and he will be able to get out alive. No, he won't, as then Voxley actually picks up the kill. Poke going reasonably low as well, but he'll be able to survive, mainly because Death Sentence isn't available again for the second kill, but there's just nothing that Bulldog can do to this London United bot lane, London Esports bot lane right now.
It's just, you know, bit of a bot diff, really, isn't it? Like, I don't know.
It's too much. Like, Devox there, yeah, but doing too much work over too much of the map, doing it too effectively. It doesn't seem fair at this point.
It's like, he's
There's another Dev
man.
Out
Like,
of the cable shot.
He's just someone cue the Ultra Instincts music or something. He's just not me.
It's too much. It's just too much at this point. So Beely moves towards bot side. Hatchie is here. Hatchie feels confident because Fresh isn't here. But look, as soon as they see or get a whiff of someone coming to make a play in or around an objective, London Esports are all immediately there. It's their macro play's so clean, their micro play's so clean, and Bulldog are just, they're chasing shadows and being picked off one by one at every turn.
Yep, hover rotations, map rotations in general, all been very, very on point from London so far. And yeah, given the current trajectory of how the players in this game are playing, Brother William, I don't feel like Bulldog are going to be in this one for much longer. It's just the bold guess of mine.
Yeah, it's not looking great for them so far, and that's kind of where the sentence ends. I guess there's. Then it's difficult. I want to be okay. Here's my question for you: Bulldog Esports right now in this game at the state it's in, what should they be looking to do?
Well, the issue is that they're kind of just weaker across the board. So the only thing that they can kind of hope to do is try and make a forced numbers advantage play on a side laner, or just if then Voxnay for whatever reason pushes up too far in the lane, you try and get onto him with some of the hard engage options you have. But the issue is, you've got the likes of a Realm Warp, you've got Predator on the Gragas, so he's always going to be relatively fast to a play. And once Merpillion has his teleport, he is going to be there, you know, pretty much omnipresently at all times. In that sense, and I mean, even the Lantern, if you want to talk about that, is there to take some people out of danger, as Hepe probably misses about the second hook, I think, in 18 minutes in this game. And for Bulldog, it's just really tough when London maneuver the map like how they are at the moment. They never really overcommit to one side too heavily, and they're just a little more precise in what they're trying to do. And the one time that Bulldog actually looked like they could be in for a good fight, they don't actually pick up any of the carries. They don't kill any of the carries in the fight, and London kind of just turn it on its head. So it's really difficult. I mean, bro.
That time around, there wasn't a kill to follow it. So, you know,
right.
In terms of the tier list of fresh hooks we've seen this game, not the highest. And again, very, very close. But London Esports are so confident. They're able to move in pretty much anywhere they want around the map. The objectives are going down, and look, PFI is going to be the one taking the Realm Warp behind. Ashley's going to miss out on that one, so damage is going to come through onto Strickland, but they don't need the perfect ultimate for the dive. They can just pick up that kill for free very, very easily. 4 members of Bulldog have now moved in to take down the 2 members of London mid, but it doesn't matter. Devox, like, he's going to be engaged on with 2 ultimates. Hatchie trying to get on top of them. With the stuff coming down, there's the shutdown on to the Kaiser. Hatchie going to be chased away, but going to be culled. Poke now trying to plod his way to freedom through the minions. Won't be able to do so. The hook's going to do nothing as London pick up another. Only Ryusi is left standing, and I was gonna say London might turn their attention towards Baron, but it doesn't spawn for another 20 seconds.
Yeah, and the salt in the wound on top of all of the kills going over to London is that, okay, then Voxnay picked up or had himself picked up, and the shutdown went over to Bulldog. But who picked up the shutdown? It was the support. So yeah, it's sad hours for the Bulldog crew, as London honestly making the correct play, picking up Shicklin on the top side. But this is roughly what Bulldog need to do. If London commit numbers to a play, you try and commit numbers to the other side. And in this case, mid and top, they're not really that far away, and London are able to effectively respond. And even though then Voxnay goes down, you don't really feel too bad about it, because Poke that picked up the kill credit for it. So the end of the day, all right, well, then Voxnay's an assassin now. If he had his ultimate, you would probably see Vyus.
He's already dead. Stop.
Yeah.
Voxnay, we don't need to see that from you. Like, 9, 1, and 4 on the Kaiser, but second most deaths on his team, so...
Oh, there's a teleport from that as well, yeah.
Yeah, looking for
Oh my god, he missed by a wide margin. All right, maybe he is human, guys.
Maybe just a little bit, but the tower is going to be the next focus. They're going to be able to take that one down. No charge even needed by the Rift Elf that has been dropped as Voxnay dives in. There's so much damage. The Hatchie getting the damage down. Shiklin needs to be chased away. The stun comes through, but so does the charge from the Rift Elf. They're looking to break open this inhibitor tower and should be able to do so in short order. Will they be able to get the charge? No, not onto the inhibitor, as they will be able to secure that one with Shiklin getting that auto attack down. Members of London are going to be able to back away towards the red buff, but they don't even necessarily have to leave. They've still got pretty healthy health bars and could look to try and make a pick if members of Bulldog decide to leave their base.
And this is very quickly turning into a bit of a stomp for 10k gold lead, pretty much, for London. Oh, 9.5 now that Vyus has picked up that wave. And yeah, it's one of those games, Will. One of those games, as you can see, the gold graph pretty much London favored start to finish.
Yeah, it's a healthy little incline there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But another dragon coming through.
Yeah, another dragon. Another dragon. Hachi trying to freeze this wave. I think it will freeze. If that's a cannon wave, which it should, yeah, it's gonna push back out sooner or later. But this is still nice. He's gonna deny away some CS, and I mean, in another universe where this wave actually does pick up the inhib, then Bulldog wouldn't feel too terrible about it. But at that point, because we are 21, 22 minutes in, London would feel much happier about taking Baron. So this wave is going to slow push back out. Someone will eventually have to pick it up, and it will be a big wave. But in this kind of state of game, I don't think London really care too much about that. As see, posturing on the top side, eyes well and truly on the Baron. Realistically, and Voxnay is approaching his 4th item with an Elixir of Wrath in his inventory, whilst poor VUC has just finished up his 2nd. And boy, oh boy.
I mean, okay, so this is where we decide, this is where we do the cast of, we change the narrative around this game a little bit. So
okay,
it's no longer a case of London Esports, what are they up to, how good are they looking, right? Let's start thinking about, okay, they're in such a dominating position. What do London Esports need to do here? What's their optimal way to victory? Because you can win games and not look so optimal. And actually, a fight's going to kick off as Poke gets the engage down onto, yep, looking to get the ultimate down onto Voxnay, keeping that fight just a little bit longer, but so much damage coming through from the Kaiser. Poke is going to be absolutely assassinated as PFI gets on the back and gets a kill on Design. Goes golden before he stuns. Voxnay dives through the fight, uses that ultimate, looking for one more auto attack. Will be able to find Chicken. Can he find Vyus? Can he find the triple? No, he can't, but the flame comes through as yet picks up another kill. Hatchie diving in, but it's just too late to be involved in this fight as he'll go down. There's the triple that was promised earlier. Voxnay will be able to help his team clean up this inhibitor tower, this inhibitor. And you know what? London Esports could even look to push through for the game.
Yeah, I think, Will, they are just going to end the game right here. Death timers are relatively short. We're only 24 minutes into this game, but they should be able to crack through the health bars of both of these towers. The Nexus going to be exposed. Bulldog members are spawning now, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There you go.
Well, I mean, Fresh goes down, so that's, you know...
Hit on the KDA.
Yeah, hit on the KDA, but I was going to say before I was so rudely interrupted by London Esports winning that game, that are they going to be able to close it out cleanly? Are they going to be able to look as good closing out as they did the rest of the game? The answer is
yes.
Yes, they absolutely are. They're going to take one more team fight, clean up house, and win the game. But what, in your opinion, do you think that was on London Esports playing exceptionally well? Was it on Bulldog Esports playing poorly, or was it a combination?
I mean, Bulldog really didn't. Yeah, it's this combination. I think London, as a team, have been one of our stronger teams at executing plans in the early game. They have often looked pretty concise in, you know, their objectives as a team. And honestly, I mean, Hepe, man on a mission with all of those hooks. They kind of just recognized where and when they could actually play the game. Paid a lot of respect to TF. You see a lot of teams at this level, honestly, you know, they don't pay enough respect to Twisted Fate. He opens up that Destiny Gate. And we see snowballs happen a lot off that pick, but we didn't see it today. And I think it's just really London pressuring Bulldog into a corner where once they got that lead, especially, London, Bulldog weren't running a team fight composition, right? That was very much a team comp that wanted to play side lane. But if you get that far ahead, you don't get to play the side lanes if you're so far behind. So it's just how it is. I think, Bulldog not really playing the game too well. London, they execute enough to the point where the gold lead is just ballooned well out of control.
And then I guess to the point where even if Bulldog start picking up those more correct plays, it really doesn't matter because London could just run them over. We're going to jump to a short break. When we come back, we're going to see if Jamal has found his crayons, and we're going to have an interview with the Hook God himself. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Hold me like a secret.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the UKLC. I'm still Viper and still joined by Jamada, and we just saw a masterclass from London Esports taking down Bulldog. And Jamada, there are a lot of times that were very, very impressive for London in that game, but we've chosen one that was maybe one of the most impressive plays of the entire game for you to basically talk us through and show us how it happened and why it was so successful.
Yeah, so in this clip, it's actually off the back of a play made by London, which was then technically extended by the Bulldog lineup. So set up here, we do have Destiny Gate available for Shiklin, and we have both the top laner and the mid laner of Bulldog. I should really be using the circles, but I like freehanding. It makes me look like a child. You can see Renekton, Twisted Fate in the mid lane, just battling out for mid lane priority. London, the core here, actually looking like they're ready to back off, allow then Voxnay to eat up the wave and potentially deny away the next one. And we'll get the clip playing. And Bulldog actually make the call to try and collapse onto London here. Try and make a Nubs advantage play where they have Hachi teleporting back out on the top side of your minimap here, right on top of Den Voxnay, and the rest of the Bulldog lineup will try and collapse on the free here. So target selection for Bulldog, most likely going to be Den Voxnay here. If they can get past this core free, and we'll get the clip playing again, and the gold card does land, or that is attempted to be thrown, but you can see Shiklin just gets flayed, hooked almost, and basically just dies before he's actually able to get that gold card out, and he only throws it onto the Thresh. Now, Hachi finally finishes the teleport channel as the Twisted Fate is dead, so this is already not a good fight for Bulldog at this point, but they already have the numbers here. It's a 4v4 at best. I feel like they have to flip their chances, and they also know that. They know Renekton's on his way up, and they try their best to try and get onto the carries, but they can only really hit what's in front of them. In this case, Fresh drops and the Gragas drops, but these are not the carries of London, right? The carries, realistically, then Voxnay up here, Beely over here being Nautilus or mid right now, and they still have tools to get further away. You can see Beely has the stopwatch, he delays time, flashes away, Poke misses out on the hook, and Merp finally shows up to get the cleanup down. And I mean, fundamentally, the play from Bulldog is fine, but unfortunately for them, London are a little more on the ball mechanically, and it kind of just turned play on its head.
And that was kind of the story of the entire game, where London were just incrementally better across the board. And the increments were sometimes a little bit small, sometimes they were huge, and they were able to completely dominate the game from start to finish. There wasn't ever a real point where I looked at Bulldog and thought, yep, you know what, this is their moment. This is where their composition starts working. This is where they're stronger, because London were just so dominant from basically level 1, level 2 onwards. They just absolutely never gave up. And one person who never let up at all in that entire game is our interviewee for this second game. It's, the support, the Fresh King himself. So congratulations on that win. Is your Fresh always that good?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, either my Thresh is that good, or I go 0-10 if you meet me in solo queue.
I mean, well, that was definitely not a 0-10 performance. Going into that game, obviously, you're coming up against Bulldog, who aren't on the best run of form, and London have been a little bit inconsistent. When you got that first playoff in bot lane and things started getting going, from that first successful play, were you always confident it was going to be a strong performance from you?
I don't think so. I think the first 5 minutes, I mean, I think I played well the whole game, but the first 5 minutes, it was like just normal. But after the first 5 minutes, I had to like take a mental reset, so I didn't get too hyped. Like I didn't just randomly flash in on ADC trying to predict hook and stuff like that. And I had to do that a few times through the match because I didn't want to get too hyped.
Well, I still have to ask, what did you eat for breakfast today? Because apparently you're just not, you weren't allowed to miss many death sentences. No, but yeah, it was a really strong performance. Obviously now I think that moves you up to 4-3. For you guys in the standings, personal goals for you guys. Realistically, it's that top half finish. You want to make playoffs. What teams are you kind of looking at as your direct competitors? Obviously, right now the standings are very close, but you know, teams that you feel like you match up particularly well to, or teams that you feel like at the moment might be playing better than you, that you think you actually still can topple?
I think the only team that's a real competitor is Resolve. and I'm not quite sure if they are better than us right now, or we are tied. But I think in 1 week or 2 weeks we might be better than them. I think the speed that like London Esports as a team is evolving is going a lot faster than Resolve, or at least as far as I can see in the competitive. I think they're a really strong team, but I don't think they have grown as much as like over the split as we have.
That's really interesting, talking about the difference between coming in and being a baseline power level to the advancement and the evolution of the team. And of course, London haven't yet gone 1-1. You've only gone 1-1. In fact, you haven't got a completely unbeaten week. And obviously this week you've got 3 games rather than 2. But after a performance like that, are you confident you can go into tomorrow and into Monday with a really successful mentality and hopefully pick up 2 or even 3 wins?
It depends on if the enemy is banning fresh, right? No, I think we can at least get a 2-1, but I'm optimistic, and I'm gonna say we're gonna go 3-0 this week.
Excellent. Love the confidence. Well, thank you very, very much for joining us on the interview desk. And of course, massive congratulations on the performance for yourself and for the entire team. And of course, picking up that W as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome
Nice.
Stuff. He didn't tell you what you have for breakfast though. So you won't be able to get on the Yep diet just yet. But we're going to jump to a very short break, everybody. But when we come back, we're going to be jumping into our 3rd game of the evening. Resolve can go undefeated in the 1st round robin. Standing in their way, demise off the back of a win. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes.